Hey everybody. Today we're going to use Graphext to analyze a lot of review data, review comments that have been made about our hotel, Pennsylvania, New York, which we're responsible of right now. And because we're the managers and we want to know what the hotel looks like to our users and how we can improve our experiences, we're going to use this data in order to find out what is worst and best. Let's go. So we can see here how we have our data, which is like usernames, the overall ratio they gave to it, the title of the review, the text itself, and etc. And for example, with the overall rating, we can go to plot and just see here like a bar chart and maybe say the overall rating. We can see here our rating is not looking good because this is bar for 1, which is like 42% of all the reviews gave us a 1, and then 2 is a bit less, and 5 stars was 4% of the whole sample size we have here. So we have to clearly improve our manners, right? So let's analyze what exactly is going on. We can see that the comment is a text. And there's usually not much that we can do with text itself because it's just free text and people just talk about things and there's no tools to use against this. Good news is Graphext was actually built for this. Right now it can do a lot other stuff, but it was initially thought out and planned out to deal with text data. So let's actually have a look at what we can do. We can go into the wizard and click on text and topics. And this will prompt you to select any of the columns that you want to analyze, right? So we can see the drop down here. And in case you don't see your column of interest in which you have the comments itself, it usually is because of the column is not text. We can see here the title should be text, but it's instead a category because it's short. So it just defaults to category, which is easier to process. So you could basically click on the icon and say text, and that will convert it into a text column that you can then use in here. So let's use text, which is the actual body of text of the review, right? And once you click here, you're basically just done. Just click run and wait. This will calculate a lot of stuff like significant terms, sentiment analysis to see if the comments are good or bad. It will do a lot of stuff under the hood. So be patient and maybe go touch some grass, stand up, drink some water while it loads. It usually takes 4 or 5 minutes, depends of course on the dataset and on the size of your dataset. So once it's finished, we can see here that a lot has changed in our interface, right? There's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna move myself here into the middle, and we see 2 pinned columns to the left, which are cluster and significant terms. These terms are the ones that appear most throughout the whole body of text that would be all the comments combined. And then this cluster just tries to, this cluster text, what it's doing is assigning a category to each of the rows so that rows that are similar, that is comments that are similar and talk about the same thing approximately, can be put together and in little groups that you can then like figure out what they're saying and act upon. So for example, we can go into the graph, and here we can see that these are all of our 3,000 comments. And for example, I like to do this, which is very fun, go into the gear and the graph manager, and the node size is disabled. If we enable it, we can select a column. In this case, I want to use a length of the text column, and then maybe adjust some to have some contrast. Basically, what this is doing is mapping the length of the comment to the size of the node, so we can see immediately what comments are very long and probably angry. So we can click save in here to save this view, and we can start exploring a lot of here because, for example, we have mold, complaint, dirty ceiling, so a lot of stuff that talks about this. If you click on a node, you can basically see what it's doing. This is a very long comment, and this is not even the longest. So we can see here an even longer one, which is just people completely mad about our place. But let's say I don't really want to read all this, like I don't have time. So in here, in length of text column, I can click in this bin, and this will basically just show those comments are between 0 and 500 characters long. We can maybe make this even shorter to be like a tweet, something like 170 feels cool, right? So we can see here the lobby is pleasant, the rest is sad at best, which is, well, not exactly what I want to hear about my hotel. I don't know about yours. For example, we can hover here. Location was great, but the hotel room was dirty and tidy, and I got bitten by bed bugs. That is rough. So yeah, we have a lot of maintenance to do, right? For example, in here, very expensive but not very clean. Yeah, you can spend all day here just reading about your users. Poor service, dirty rooms. Complete template staying at this hotel is a location. So our location is good. So yeah, that's actually really nice. We can emphasize on that next time. But I'm feeling that these groups are like very coarse, and I would love to have like more groups that are more specific, and we can exactly do that in here. So I'm gonna move myself again, and we can clear the filters. We can edit the properties of this cluster column, and here in this magic wand you can click, and this is configuring how tight or coarse, like how rough or fine you want the whole of your groups to be. So if you slide it into the right, it would make bigger groups that are generally less specific. And if you slide it to the left, to the break, you can break down into groups and be more specific about stuff. So I want to do that. And for example, yeah, that feels good. Save. And now we have different groups in here, right? So worst hotel, drill, desk, queue, phone. If we filter about that and we see the comments, maybe in the graph itself, we can see we can click on some of these comments. And yeah, this is a very, very long comment. I'm not going to read that. But for example, this one, I just stayed at a hotel and the customer was not good. My internet wasn't working. Yeah, room had bed bugs. So yeah, quite bad stuff. And let's try, for example, and seeing what positive things are saying about us. So we can, if we click on the drop in the little droplet, we enable coloring for this column, which makes it so that anything that is colored blue is negative and anything that is colored green is positive. We can change that to be a bit more intuitive. For example, negative, we can edit it to be red, which is usually bad. And we see that there's a lot of, well, a lot of red. But we can filter by positive by just clicking here, and we could see all the different comments. We immediately see that comments that are positive are small. So again, people do not like to tell you how good your hotel is, but they will in fact tell you how bad it is. So that is a thing to keep in mind. For example, we can, I don't know, click on this one, bring it to the right. Stayed for 6 nights, 150 nights for double room, great bargain. So it's cheap, it's nice. New York, you don't go to New York City to stay to the room, which is probably a bad thing to say because you don't want to stay to the room, but well. And maybe, for example, we can select the neighbors of this, which are comments are directly like very similar to this one. So if we go in here, hotels in the middle of it all, I like my stay. I would and will stay again. It's old hotel. For example, this one is bad. Location can be beat. So a lot of people talk about the location. And just back from staying 5 nights, the rooms were basic but clean. These people were nice about it. So yeah, this positive comment. I stayed at the Pen with my 11-year-old son for the price. I hadn't expected more, which is probably, again, taking with a grain of salt. This is not going good for our business. So let's actually analyze what the trends have been of people talking about our hotel. So the sum up of the comments, like how frequent they are now in comparison to how frequent they were before, for example, right? So I want to see the cluster, the text, which is the sum up of the comments. Yeah, the date, for example. And here it suggests that we use a multiple line chart, and we can just click in here and see all these comments, right? For example, in 2005, more or less, in this period, it was being talked a lot about the worst hotel, worst experience, gross hotel I have. Yeah. Then this decayed and then it started growing again. But for example, this yellow line here that's stopping us, original hop catch a bus, we can go into here and see what is all about. So so original hop catch a bus drop shop. So basically it's emphasizing the location, so we could say that in our website, or it's like we have the best location, we are in the city center, you can have very good access. For example, a lot has been talked about the Penn station, which is probably close, and the subway. And this is usually a very good thing for people to just consider if they're staying at our hotel or not. So yeah, this feels good. Like, I wanna save this. So this is, for example, I'm gonna edit this by clicking in here. And this will take me into, for example, if it wasn't in view, I can just customize this access and click in here and say date. And then, for example, instead of relative count of rows, just proportion of comments. And then, yeah, the overall sum up, which is the cluster itself. And then maybe adding a title, we can say top trends over time, and just add a subtitle or whatever you may want to add, and just we can save this as an insight, and this will allow us to later refer to it in case we needed it. So that was a very quick and easy review of what you can do in Graphext just by 2 clicks and then waiting a bit. Just it extracts all this information, and you can then just dive into the graph and see what people are exactly saying about your hotel. Or maybe you can get into the negative, positive stuff and just try to analyze what the correlation is. Like, for example, if there were more negative comments than there are positive, which appears as there are more positive comments in here later than there were in the past. You can do all sorts of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it, and please ask if you need anything at support@graphext.com. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.